Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Bearable Bull here. And I got this aggressively average content for you today, as we are all the way back at the exact bottom right now that we needed to see before we're going to take off. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't tell you how volatile world events along with this market is about to get. But what we just saw, the Twitter wars that we witnessed between the richest man in the world and the president of the United States, that was the black swan event we needed to see to trigger the pullback right before the crypto bull run. Ladies and gentlemen, a lot of people don't need to sell their XRP to make money and get rich. But here in this video, I'm gonna let you know that you probably should, even though you don't have to sell your XRP, because it is the smartest decision. You see, smart people won't necessarily have to sell their XRP because they'll learn how to lend against their XRP, borrow against, provide liquidity, yield farm, liquid stake, use the Flare network, get rewards from their XRP. But here's the thing. Despite the fact that you don't necessarily have to sell your XRP, it will be smart towards the peak of this market, which I believe could be in the healthy double-digit mark. The reason this is important is because the amount of ROI that will be made from XRP is enough to sell at the peak and then reinvest at lower levels, despite the fact that there will be more products to allow you to never have to sell your XRP. And every single cycle that I've been a part of, and I've been here since 2016, people that didn't sell at the peak during euphoria always regretted it, no matter how good the digital asset is. Hell, look at the last bull run with Solana. It went over $200. Then it collapsed to $9 during the FTX debacle. This is extremely important. And ladies and gentlemen, what we saw yesterday on Twitter was Elon Musk revealing that he says Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. And that's the real reason they have not been made public. Guys, regardless of these rumors, regardless of this Twitter spat between billionaires, regardless of the rift between Elon Musk and Donald Trump, this is a black swan event of black swan events. Tesla stock dropped. The crypto market dropped. Uncertainty around the US president is in the air. And this is a catalyst. This was the bottom. And I believe we're going nothing but straight up from here. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, you guys don't think I made a face reveal for no fucking reason, do you? I made a face reveal the moments right before we're about to make generational wealth. Not before we see a black swan event to bring us into deep red. Don't be dissuaded by what happened. If anything, this will get libs on board to really want to see what are in those files and who's on these lists. And this is so exciting, I can't even tell you. This is the greatest show on earth. And we couldn't have written a better movie script than the shit show that's going on the world stage. But regardless, my friends, all of this is going to lead to the inevitable rise of the phoenix coming out of the ashes of whatever world events they have planned. And here we have Waters Above Crypto showing the XRP community that this recent market move may have caught many off guard, but this was warned about. On May 26th, he shared that XRP is likely to go to the 205 to 212 range between the specific dates of June 4th to June 6th. That's exactly what happened. Here, we are now getting ready and bullish for altcoin season. Ladies and gentlemen, straight shot to $8 to $10 from here. And it's very possible that we may be in for that $26 mark. we've been doing analysis on this channel for a very long time. Now, with all that being said, to start off this video for today, I want to leave you with this clip from Modern Investor, helping all of you realize every single reason I know for a fact XRP is going to hit double digits, and in short order.
Prefaced it before by saying many analysts have this similar number. If you weren't here, his is $27 in 60 days, which would coincide with us getting information and news about all 17 XRP ETFs being given the thumbs up. And I dare say the words, if we get 3 to 5 of them, I think that'll be more than enough for a propulsion to get us over $15 to $20 realistically. If you missed one of the last couple of videos, a company by the name of Sistine Research is guesstimating, based off of their charts, they foresee a $370,000 Bitcoin this year. Their charts with that movement for Bitcoin show a 37 to a $50 XRP this year. A lot of analysts are throwing out these numbers, and I say that it feels a bit extreme because I think that we are used to it just being us in these markets. When I tell you that all these institutions and corporations and governments and central banks and companies are buying up all these coins, one side note, you can also Google it. If you ever hear me say anything completely crazy, Google it. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about. A lot of the predictions for XRP have nearly revolved around like very specific instances of things. This would, if we get one XRP ETF, it broadens the scope of liquidity and money that will rush into this market. If you also missed one of the other recenter videos, oh gosh, what were they called? Company announced that they think that XRP is the only coin. They said the only coin that can stand up to or next to Bitcoin. And then we also had a thing, what do you call it? A study done by Kraken, the cryptocurrency exchange, who told people to allocate a portion of their money, of their portfolio, into XRP because of how great it's going to do.
Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how often you need to hear me say it, but I'll say it as much as you need to have it inculcated into your minds that we're going to be uber filthy stinking rich this cycle. XRP is going to overperform expectations. And Modern Investor gave the example of the ETFs going live as why. Here, we had a great rumor about Circle potentially being bought up by Ripple. And while Brad Garlinghouse confirmed they never offered to buy Circle, it's something to just analyze, wait and see how things develop. Because where there's rumors, there's smoke. And where there's smoke, there's fire. And even though these allegations and rumors are being denied, I don't necessarily believe that. That's just me, though. In the meantime, Circle did IPO, and their stock rose 200% as they went live. What's so interesting is to see how this develops moving forward. But something tells me there's a perfect storm brewing, and all the events that have been taking place over the past couple weeks are not random. Here, we see that Ripple gave Wall Street an XRP backdoor with its $1.25 billion acquisition of Hidden Road. It has launched an OTC crypto swaps for U.S. institutions, and quiet accumulation is now possible without moving the charts. This changes everything for XRP because these swaps are cash settled. No coins move on chain, but financial exposure is real, and the institutions love this. Assets aren't named yet, but let's be honest, Ripple owns the broker. XRP is next. You weren't supposed to notice that, but we talk about this right here on this channel and in the XRP army. Hidden Road operates through a UK regulated entity dodging SEC bottlenecks while onboarding US capital. Smooth, silent, surgical, precise. This isn't just about swaps. Ripple is laying financial rails. MiCA license in Europe. FINRA license in the US. Full stack play. And if XRP gets added, expect price movement after positions are already built. That's the power of infrastructure. Because it front runs retail. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't stress this enough. The inflows of capital that will be pouring into XRP will be monumental, and our profits will speak for themselves. Now, what's so interesting is that the riddles are beginning to get hilarious. Ladies and gentlemen, do you remember 589 and all the different meanings that it's had? Well, apparently Hidden Road's headquarters in New York is 589 Fifth Avenue. Guys, this is hilarious because Hidden Road is going to be one of the most important things that makes Ripple and XRP adoption really accelerate. Hidden Road with Ripple will scale more transactions on the XRP ledger. Trading technologies have access to over 100 global exchanges. And as tokenized assets increase post-settlement, and eventually front and back end transactions will be enabled with XRP. But in addition to all this riddle me that nonsense, it just so happens to be the case that Ripple is embracing the riddle community as well, as their headliner on X shows a euro receipt, a clock, and a Wall Street bull, all synonymous with riddles that have percolated in this community. Ripple follows 985 people. Brad Garlinghouse follows 589 people. And Ripple released a video recently saying it's happening. What the hell is going on? I don't know, but I'm so excited. And I just can't hide it. And as all these funny scenarios for Ripple are happening, the regulatory front is developing alongside it. The Genius Act stablecoin bill is looking to pass shortly by next week. This isn't just bullish, but it'll be historic for XRP. Banks will finally trust digital assets. XRP enters illegal payment rails. Institutional money can flow into RippleNet. This is how mass adoption begins. RLUSD, USDC, stablecoin regulation is going to open the floodgates, I promise you. The institutions are ready on standby, ready to send XRP to the moon. And it's only a matter of time.
We will start voting on the Genius Act, the stablecoin bill, this week. I don't think we're going to complete it this week. We'll probably have to go into next week because a number of amendments will be filed. But we have worked long and hard to bring Democrats to the place where they can vote for cloture. I think we're there.
So what are the remaining hurdles for Democrats? What have they told you that their concerns are? What's keeping them from getting on board completely?
Well, we have generally agreed to many of the amendments they wanted. There were concerns about illicit finance. We've addressed some of those. And we're just waiting to see what amendments are filed by both parties as we move the bill to full consideration on the floor of the Senate.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, with that being said from Miss Cynthia Loomis, we have to realize that with stablecoin regulations coming, with Bill Morgan saying we could see a breakthrough in the Ripple SEC battle within 9 days as the SEC's 60-day window closes June 16th, and a full resolution could be ready as early as June 13th. We have XRP ETFs looming, preparing to go live, likely in Q3. We have so much going on for Ripple and XRP momentum that all you need to do is realize that the bottom is in. All you need to do is realize that generational wealth is about to be made. And all you need to do is either hold or accumulate. Guys, I can't stress this enough. We've always been right. And we are seconds away from the finish line. The XRP army has been bred to win. And we're all winners. Ladies and gentlemen, we went through the ringer, and now we're about to get everything we deserve. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Bearable Bull here. Thanks for tuning in. As always, I appreciate every single one of you. But before I leave you in this video for today, I'm going to show you a clip of why you should protect your identity and yourself with your digital assets and not be disclosing the amount of money you have in crypto, because crypto kidnappings have been on the rise. The reason I made my face reveal is because I am very well protected and I know exactly the impact I'm about to make with this reveal. But for all of you, a heightened level of security and protection for your digital assets is needed. Be humble, because we're all heading into the new 1%. Now guys, I'll be back tomorrow with another video.
Tonight, questioning that cryptocurrency entrepreneur about what happened in his $75,000 a month apartment. A man from Italy claims he was tied up and tortured for 2 weeks by the entrepreneur.
He says he managed to escape, and tonight we are learning new information about what happened and what police say. Eyewitness News reporter Josh Einiger is live in Soho with the breaking news. Josh.
Liz, you don't hear something like this every day, and every new detail we hear is more disturbing than the one before. In the brownstone behind me, cops say they've uncovered a sadistic torture ring led by a group of crypto bros who sources say tied up their victim, tortured him with electrical current, pistol whipped him, and then fired up a chainsaw and threatened to cut off his limbs, all to have access to his fortune in cryptocurrency. At an opulent brownstone on Prince Street, a most unusual sight. Police emerged with a handcuffed man in a bathrobe who stood in the rain barefoot as they patted him down and tried to make sense of a depraved story they'd heard from another man who claimed he'd been held against his will here for weeks.
I mean, everything else happens, but that one is a new one, and no, that's just insane.
This morning, a 28-year-old man from Italy approached a traffic agent and said he'd escaped captivity at 38 Prince Street, having been held hostage and beaten. Police quickly moved in.
I saw like a sort of SWAT team going with the shields, and then shortly after that, I saw a guy in a white robe and handcuffs come out.
The guy comes out in a white bathrobe, barefoot, hands cuffed behind his back, got into a police car. He didn't look concerned, you know. He didn't look worried or anything like that.
The man in the bathrobe was, according to cops, a cryptocurrency entrepreneur who rents the home. Police say he'd had a business dispute with the victim who'd moved to his native Italy after a falling out months ago. But he returned May 6th, and that's when police say the home's occupant and another person effectively took the victim hostage and tortured him, tying him up, beating him, even throwing him through furniture. Police say the victim has traumatic injuries consistent with having been beaten. Inside the house, they say they found multiple Polaroid pictures of him being tied up and tortured, along with multiple torture items in view. They also found a gun. The house, all 8 bedrooms and 10 bathrooms, sits set back from the sidewalk on this busy block in Soho. It was rented just a couple of months ago. Its most recent listing price, $75,000 per month. Sidewalk vendor Kieran Tully has been watching that house for months and says something's been off. He just never knew what.
I've seen people go in and out all the time and never really ever saw the same person twice. So we were wondering what was going on in there.
Well, something apparently was. We are blurring the suspect's picture in that video because police have not formally charged him or named him publicly, but he's being questioned right now at the NYPD's 5th Precinct. They're also seeking at least one other person they say was involved in this depravity. As for the victim, sources say he chose today to stage his escape because his tormentors told him they would kill him today. Right now, he's being treated at Bellevue Hospital.